It's not a fucking Twilight movie without a motherfucking helicopter shot over some motherfucking woods. Part 2, movie that will credit all the people who have ever been into Twilight at the end of the movie, still wastes our time with opening credits. Also, this is the first time in the entire series that any movie has done this, so it's almost like an implicit message to the audience. We really don't have that much to show you in Part 2, but thanks for making us rich. Movie picks up where the last movie's halfway point should have been. 3 minutes in and I'm already skipped. Ow, I totally skipped and it landed on something else I'm gonna have to skip.
You need to get your thirst under control.
Bella only realizes thirst is a problem after Edward tells her about it. Somehow, in 5 movies, the vampire running fast through the woods effects have gotten worse. Wait, I get that she's able to see things slower than real time, even while running, but this blossoming dandelion shot actually goes against that idea, suggesting that she's running super slow and seeing a full flower bloom in the time it takes her to pass. Movie shows Bella spotting a scary, ugly spiderweb in her path, but then acts as though she did not end up with a spider in her mouth just by skipping past the aftermath to more forest running. Newlywed vampire forest race, goddammit. Also, Edward and Bella refuse to put on proper running wear before going out into the woods to hunt. Shitty CGI looks less shitty when you place the camera so far above the action that the CGI becomes tiny. What is this? CGI for ants! Bella senses this rock climber nearby way before Edward does. And yeah, I know he said a second ago that she's stronger than him right now, but she's got a better nose 5 minutes into vampirism than he does? As if in response to his possible death, Climber slips and scratches himself right at the time Bella's thirst for blood hits its tipping point. Cougar shows up so that Bella doesn't have to kill the deer and her innocence is maintained. Let me say though, there are times she's going to have to kill a puppy. Just because she got bailed out this once doesn't make her innocent for all time. Also, just because the deer eats grass doesn't mean it's not an asshole. And how do we know this cougar wasn't going to eat the Twilight serial killer in a few years? Now that serial killer's going to go free.
You ran away from human blood mid-hunt. Even mature vampires have problems with that.
Why is she so special that she could avoid the pratfalls of new vampire thirst so easily? Also, you just tackled a mountain lion and killed it with your teeth. No blood on your mouth, your face, your dress, your hands, and that's literally not possible.
Since when do you care about Renesmee?
Yeah, I better not get into that yet, but I'm assuming the FBI will be showing up to Jacob's store soon. Oh, they'll be instantly slaughtered by a werewolf when they show, but that's not the point.
Welcome to the family.
Everyone was concerned about Bella when she nearly died, but apparently they decided to wait until after she was done hunting before saying one word to her. Digital Kid continues to be an abomination in Part 2. I don't care how good a person she is, that's just a bunch of ones and zeros pretending to be happy as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Jesus, could they not get a real baby to giggle for 3 seconds for this shot?
It's a wolf thing.
What's a wolf thing?
Bella, I know you nearly died, but shut the f*** up.
You imprinted on my daughter?
It wasn't my choice.
She's a baby!
It's not like that.
Well, so far, from what these movies have shown us, yeah, it kinda seems just like that. No matter what, can we just agree that this premature imprintulation is creepy?
From the beginning, it was Nessie who wanted me there.
Nessie? You nicknamed my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster?!
Props to Bella for saying this before I could have a chance to. But this super angry dramatic line reading is completely neutered by the ridiculousness of the actual words being said. Also, Bella makes an insane leap and assumes Nessie can only mean Loch Ness Monster. And judging by Jacob's reaction, she's right. And how does she know he didn't nickname the baby after Elliot Ness or Nestor Carbonell from Lost?
Finally.
Finally? Finally what? What the hell is this scene? This scene couldn't be more out of context if Bill Condon dropped a scene of Dreamgirls in its place.
Happy birthday.
I stopped aging 3 days ago.
God, Bella is 100% killjoy.
We thought you guys might like a place of your own.
So, did they build this house, or did they make a good deal with a witch from Hansel and Gretel? Was there an existing hermit house here in the woods and they snapped it up before someone could claim squatting rights?
What do you think?
I think it's perfect.
You've seen it for all of 3 seconds, from the outside. Yep, 10,000 light sources in here. Perfect starter home for Bella. Yeah, let's allow those dangerous candles throughout the house to burn while we go have some more fantastic PG-13 sex.
This will be Renesmee's room.
I certainly hope so, because I'm not sleeping in a crib with you.
This is our room.
Man, do you know how badly I want one of these books on the mantle behind him to be Vampirism for Dummies, or What to Expect When You're Expecting? Now I'm wondering, the last time they had sex, Edward broke the bed. So does the bed not break because Bella is a vampire now? Because that is an extremely specific vampire power right there. Vampire sex montage. Also, whether you realize it or not, you're witnessing the scenes that gave birth to 50 Shades of Grey. I love how vampires don't need to eat or sleep or do much of anything humans do, except for sex. Then that it's extra amazeballs. Hey, we just had amazing mind-blowing sex. Let's lie down next to the fire even though we don't need warmth.
You really were holding back before.
Yeah, that sex we just saw was absolutely the most violent series of dissolves I ever watched. That was intense. I imprinted on my best friend's newborn daughter sandwich.
Actually, we'll have to tell him you didn't make it.
Why can't you just say you got some colored contacts and when the time comes, seemingly don't age because you found miracle cream? The best option is to break your dad's heart forever.
Look, I solved a problem.
And that's how that scene ended, with Charlie having no questions for Jacob at all. He just kept chopping wood after that.
He'll be here in 10 minutes.
Bella's dad decided to wait long enough to come here just so we can have this scene, and Bella could get some half-ass human training.
These will irritate your eyes at first.
Why does she need to go through any subterfuge at this point? Didn't Jacob just tell Charlie about being a werewolf? Isn't he expecting the supernatural at this point? Oh, f***ing come on! Like, she needs to practice doing normal things just because she's a vampire? Are you telling me she's been flash running this whole time and hasn't taken a normal step since she changed? Because you're fucking lying to me.
Just don't forget to move your shoulders so it looks like you're breathing.
Man, you guys way overestimate the human capacity to notice human things. If she doesn't do these things, will Charlie immediately snap his fingers, point to Bella, and say, "Vampire, j'accuse!"
Okay, I got it. Move around, blink, slouch.
Kristen Stewart's acting class, ladies and gentlemen.
You don't turn into an animal too, do you?
My question is, when she says no, then what is his next leap of logic? Why would Jacob turn into a werewolf in front of him unless the implication was vampire or Frankenstein's monster or customer service rep at Comcast?
Well, not gonna lose you again. I can't.
Oh, then you won't. I promise.
Unkeepable promises.
I missed you, Bells. So much.
Touching father-daughter hug scene somehow does not contain a beer. Charlie doesn't immediately vomit and run through the plate glass window screaming after seeing this baby because its face looks less real than that microbot babyface god in Matrix Revolutions.
Right. The adoption.
I think once Jacob tells you that werewolves exist, you as a cop should be able to figure this out with no problem. I mean, I didn't even watch the last 4 movies, and I figured this out. Arm wrestling. Also, Bella is apparently stronger because the movie says she is. That reason is immensely satisfying. Bella now appears fully committed to sparkle motion.
My time as a human was over, but I never felt more alive.
Vampiriny. Jacob's bikes always seem to need fixing, which suggests to me that Jacob is terrible at fixing bikes.
Edward thinks that we'll find answers in Brazil.
He knows a street fighter there by the name of Blanca. The guy is just electric. What the f*** is she doing here? I'll tell you what, though. Anything to kickstart the plot is fine by me at this point. Also, Maggie Grace isn't my undead girlfriend in this scene. Renesmee is the most important character in this story, but so far all we've seen is her growing fast and jumping really high. Isn't it about time we got to know her, so we care whether she lives or dies?
She's family. She'll come around.
Well, that's enough plot-related chatter. Let's stop the movie to play the piano. When it comes down to it, this shot represents all the time this bullshit movie series is wasted over the years. Chess and piano, together at last. You mean you didn't have this vision as soon as Maggie Grace saw Renesmee? Because that's when I would have had it. It isn't a Twilight movie if a member of the Cullen household doesn't drop something breakable on the floor. This speed over to somebody bullshit is so unnecessary and has gotten so old it's already imprinted on Jacob and Renesmee's future child.
Irina thinks Renesmee is an immortal child.
Wait, are we going to learn some new thing about vampire rules in the 5th movie of the series? Oh, we are going to learn some new thing about vampire rules in the 5th movie of the series. Anytime one of these modern vampire movies flashes back to primitive village bullshit, I gotta admit, I tune out faster than a dad at a Bieber concert. This real woman is made of Barbie parts. Why does fire kill the so-called immortal child? Also, man, good thing this baby is super flammable. What the f*** did I just say?
So we fight.
Their offensive weapons are too powerful.
You've gotta love these scenes that seem like they were written for the sole purpose of giving everyone at least one line so they can tell their friends they were in the movie. You see? I helped.
Carla, we have friends all around the world.
I won't ask them to fight.
Not fight. Witness.
Oh, good. So now the movie's plot hinges on eyewitness testimony. I can't wait to see the exciting scenes of people telling the truth.
Gather as many witnesses as you can before the snow sticks to the ground. That's when they'll come.
Because their need to exact justice on you for having an illegal kid is contingent upon arbitrary weather conditions.
Alice's instructions were clear, but
Shut the f*** up, Bella.
why would she and Jasper leave at the moment we needed them most?
The question I would ask is why would they leave at the moment you need them most and not say anything about where they're going? Also, you know who won the most during the filming of the Twilight series? People who own helicopters. Right now, they're taking Renesmee around like some sort of vampire equivalent to Jesus, where every Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John will bear witness to the fact that Renesmee is a cute little girl who doesn't eat people. That's the plot right now, folks. I didn't make this shit up.
It's true. She was born while I was still human.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Well, then, if you've never heard of it, it must be bullshit, right?
This is how she communicates.
What? She was using English language words in the car a second ago. We're now getting into the Avengepires portion of the Twilight story. We knew they had a few powers, like seeing the future or reading minds, to all of them having the power of Quicksilver, which was all silly but made some sense. But now they can control the elements? Is Nick Fury lurking around? Aquavamp. Movie rips off the Vulcan mind meld from Star Trek. Birds flying away signal something ominous cliche.
Who are they?
Santa and Zafrina from the Amazon.
You know, Wonder Woman's friends.
Even the Beatles? Really, Garrett?
Emmett and Rosalie find a fellow vampire in a random stretch of city, just because.
As more vampires set foot in their territory, more Quileads turned, their nature compelling them to join the pack.
You mean, like, spontaneous combustion? Also, it sure is a good thing Jacob happens to be around to hold their hands into this transition. I thought he was busy doing other but apparently he can just hang out in the woods waiting for random wolf outs.
I'll be in the attic.
What an asshole.
Zafrina had power over the mind.
We called her Professor 10 for legal purposes. Discount vampire Tyra Banks. She's fierce, y'all.
She could make anyone see what she wanted them to.
And yet, all the rest of this movie is allowed to happen.
It's a defensive talent.
That's why I couldn't read your mind even before.
But before, she wasn't a vampire, so f*** you.
Whoever's coming wasn't invited.
I know that because I can sense uninvited. Also, I don't think those chicks from the Amazon were invited either. No one got all wolfy when they showed up. Whoopa.
Apparently he always pardons one person whose thoughts he claims are repentant.
This person always has an ability.
and they're always given a place with the guard.
Couldn't you have slow-dripped some of this exposition last f***ing movie when nothing was happening?
He has no one like her.
Which is why she left.
Why does he need witnesses?
See, Grandma Lutz? I totally set a line and everything.
Packs will fight. We've never been afraid of vampires.
The werewolves got their asses kicked in the last fight we saw with vampires, but that's because the plot demanded it, I think. These assholes are just wasting a whole bunch of time killing one Carlisle recruit in London. Why aren't they in Seattle already? While all of this beats Edward argues with Bella over Jacob's abs, which is how I've come to understand the plot over the years, this vampire X-Men feels so made up at the last minute I can't even enjoy it. Also, for the movie's purposes, honing Bella's shield ability will take one training session out in the woods.
Alice made sure only I would get the message. Because only my mind would be safe from Aura.
So why didn't she just tell you all the shit she was going to do in the first place? Also, Alice basically hoped Bella would be curious enough to check the Merchant of Venice for a major clue, and that no one else would notice a torn page clue, and any number of other complications that could have prevented Bella from figuring this shit out, but f*** it.
You've grown half a foot.
Bella, who was determined to do everything to fool her dad about her vampire identity, brings an 11-year-old child who should only be several months old to his house, and doesn't wear those contacts that made him believe she still had brown eyes. If the concern is that a human knows about the existence of vampires, shouldn't all these clues count?
Alice's note gave me a new sense of hope.
How do you like that, Star Wars fans? They just dragged a new hope into this, didn't they? Also, shut up, Bella.
And maybe Jade Jenks was the key.
Don't you mean Christian Grey? And now she does have her natural eye color. Did she pop those contacts in during the drive here? Holy shit, speaking of which, they just dragged Wendell Pierce into this, didn't they? Was he trying to balance out the quality of his resume after The Wire? Well, that was the end of a scene. Time for another shot of a lonely car driving down the road.
Alice's vision was clear. Renesmee would have a future. But Edward and I wouldn't be a part of it.
Of course, until her vision is absolutely proven wrong again.
I know now why Alice left me clues.
You do? Snow sticking to the ground and still no Volturi. Damn, the director and the set decorator had a clear dispute regarding how much Christmas this house needed. And hey, there's her natural eye color again. She just can't decide who she's fooling when, can she? Why do these supernatural beings need a fire again? We saw Jacob and Edward compare dicks in a snowy tent back in Twilight Eclipse, and they were totally fine.
Pre-battle bonfire. Telling war stories.
This would have been a bad enough line on its own, but then that's exactly what happens.
We've been waiting 1,500 years to return that favor.
Which means they'll die like bitches in the big battle tomorrow. What is the deal with this campfire scene anyway? Why did they come out here to do this? Later the Volturi just show up wherever you are. So you could have slept in your nice amazing house, then trekked down to the open field the day of the fight, right? And they haven't roasted one marshmallow. Not one, I tell you.
Carlisle, I've never thanked you.
You haven't? In like 100 years? I knew you were an asshole, but Jesus. What is the point of this arrival timing? It's like saying to the enemy, yeah, we had the element of surprise, and we don't even need that shit. Why weren't these wolves just out in the field with the vamps if they were going to reveal their participation in the battle ahead of it? Sun Tzu is rolling over in his grave. Wow, they stopped really far away. I mean, I know they can hear super awesome, but why even walk this far if you're going to stop halfway across the field anyway? Why not just chat from the first area where you ended the clearing?
We see the child. Do not treat us as fools.
Earlier, Carmen said she could feel the warm blood pumping through her veins. Does this guy not? Can this even be classified as a dispute? Hey, Bill, I got an idea. We can fill a lot of time just by having people walk from one side to the other. And we can film each one walking in real time. And none of that editing bullshit. It's genius, I tell you. Aro has a stroke, but because he's a vampire, the only symptom is what a cat sounds like when it experiments with anal. Also, it should be noted, and this can't be stressed enough, that Michael Sheen is a trained actor who graduated from the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art.
Half mortal, half immortal.
This is a contradiction in terms. It's like saying half pregnant, half not pregnant. You either are or you aren't, man. Get with the times. Jesus, Jacob, shut the f*** up. Nobody likes you.
Is that the child you saw?
This is why you ask questions first before you go telling everyone you've seen some you didn't really see. Are we supposed to feel bad for this chick? And when is Liam Neeson going to save her already? Thus kicks off a battle that is not actually happening at all, and is a huge cheat. It's like, we have two ideas, we just can't decide between the two of them, so let's do both. Aro is kicked far away from his army, but somehow lands in the middle of his army. The movie expects me to believe that a guy who can't even play baseball correctly can kick these two vampires' asses. Because none of this is real, movie steals the everybody dies scene from all the Final Destinations. Battle bull. This is a shot of a CGI wolf attacking a stuntman. What is the point of battle if she can just mine people to death? This is suddenly Twilight Heroes Reborn: The Age of Ultron. Looking in the background, it appears these wolves are actually winning some battles, which makes me wonder what the hell they were doing in the last movie. Oh no, not... Wait, which one was that? Was it Brownie? I think it was Oh, I don't f***ing care. Dude punches an earthquake to life, which no one was prepared for, but it somehow instantly sways all the skirmishes in this battle to the Cullens' favor. Yes, sadly, the Wilhelms succumbed to vampires over the years. They're f***ing everywhere, man. This is one of those times where I want to write a sin, where I snore, and pretend to wake up and ask if I missed anything, but with this movie, I could literally do that and not miss a thing. Because basically this entire climax is a f***ing vision. What the hell are you hanging on to? It's f***ing ice. Even in a world with vampires and werewolves, physics tells us that this wolf should have killed these two and himself with that move. But somehow, she survives. Slow motion sacrifice wolf. Also, why is there f***ing lava 200 feet below the surface? Okay, so Bella is blocking her from brain painting Alice. But why doesn't she brain paint Bella in that case? See? Told you. Out like bitches. I could write a better script than this by taping a pen to my Johnson and just flopping it around on a legal pad for a few minutes. Well, maybe if you'd been fighting all along, none of your friends would have died, huh? Again, this movie is a f*** you to the art of war. I'm telling you right now, if any of these shots lasted longer than 2 seconds, watching the people fight in the background would be an appalling experience. I mean, who are these people? And what are they really doing? They're background fodder. But the good guys only had 27 people, and the bad guys had like 100. But who knows who's really winning? As long as the main good guys win their fights, I guess we're golden. Why? Since when? Movie goes the Newhart Roseanne route for hilarious carpet pulling it was all a dream finale. Yep. 5 movies of build up to a huge climactic battle that doesn't actually happen. And so, the last 8 minutes didn't happen. So all that clapping you did when you saw Dakota Fanning getting her head pulled off, you take that back, fans. Also, what a very specific vision Alice just gave to Aro. Like, he apparently saw it with all the different cuts and camera angles and the meaningful close-ups. And since f***ing when have Alice's visions ever been this long, detailed, and fully HD? Also, this is gonna prevent Aro from attacking them. But just before this, didn't Alice say,
It doesn't matter what I show you.
So either she had a vision of herself saying that, it was wrong, or she said that just before the vision, and she was still wrong. So why should anyone take the vision at face value? And couldn't Aro use the vision to now not make the mistakes he made in the vision?
But what if you were sure she could remain concealed from the human world? Could we live in peace?
Of course, but that cannot be known.
Actually, it can.
These assholes who can reassure Aro that Renesmee poses no threat show up way late for some reason, as if the script demanded it for dramatic purposes. Hell, Alice didn't even need to give Aro a vision if they had these dickheads waiting in the wings. Be sure to capture the entire walk, assholes. We'll wait. We'll f***ing wait. Also, were they not going to fight if a fight happened? Were those two alone going to provide a second wave? This movie likes dramatic entrances way the hell more than common sense.
Raise me as her own. I made her immortal.
Why the f*** did you do that? Were you born thirsting for human blood? Because Renesmee wasn't. You had no one to train you, and you turned your aunt into a vampire who definitely didn't have any training, and Jesus, what a bunch of bullshit this is.
And your diet?
Blood? Human food? I can survive on either.
So, human food then?
Regardless, the Cullens have been consorting with werewolves, our natural enemies.
That's been all 5 movies though, right? This guy wants a fight so bad he's grasping at straws. But they sparkle! By the way, this totally also disproves Alice's earlier vision about Bella and Edward being unable to live happily ever after with their kid. So she was totally wrong about everything, but happy ending nonetheless.
You're all fools!
Alice should show these guys the part of her magic vision where they're diced to pieces.
I'm glad she has you.
But Jacob's still gonna age and die way before her, right? Has this series stated that wolves live forever too? If it has, oh, f*** it.
Should I start calling you Dad?
See? Jacob, you are already thinking about banging a 7-year-old, and I'm baffled the movie thought this needed including, even if the book did. This is some repugnant Also, Edward doesn't behead him for saying this. Is this vision ironically telling us that one day they won't be together? It is coming from Alice, after all. F*** me. This is the end of the movie and the series. Skip. Oh good, another previously on all the Twilights for the second straight movie.
Nobody's ever loved anybody as much as I love you.
You.
You show me again?
Edward Cullen wants to see all the Twilights again. Now starting a 13-minute marathon of credits, including a reminder that Wendell Pierce actually spent his time working on this movie. Oh, the humanity.
Should I start calling you Dad?
Please get off me! I don't want to die up here! Please, please stop moving! That's all I ask you! Please find her!
Not bad, Mr. Connors. You say this is your first lesson?
Yes, but my father was a piano mover.
I'm sorry, Doctor. I have no time to discuss this logically. Remember.
Who are they?
Santa and Zafrina from the Amazon.
I'm a piranha. They're in the Amazon.
You have my sword. And you have my bow.
And my axe.
Captain, my captain.
Did Aunt Alice and Uncle Jasper run away because we're gonna die?
You're thinking you're people gonna die?
At least for the time being. Don't force me to regret our arrangement.
You just concentrate on your part. Remember, I've bled for you once already.
How old are you?
150, dude! And still young!